Space Coast Daily at the top of the Port Canaveral Exploration Tower with Mac McLouth. Mac is here to update us on some possible new revenue streams for the port and some opportunities to help with traffic on our interstate. Mac, thanks for joining us here at Space Coast Daily. One of the things that we wanted to inquire about is, the port is such an important distribution center in Central Florida, bringing fuel, of course, to the airport over there in Orlando. A lot of the goods that come in this area. But the reading up on some of the statistics, doing some research, the Federal Department of Transportation is saying that by the year 2020, certain parts of I-95 from here to the northeast are almost going to be in gridlock with an average speed of 23 miles per hour. Interesting statistic. So as more traffic goes on the roads, more trucks on the roads, it's going to create a problem with moving things down here. How can the port be involved in solving that problem?
Well, I think the first thing is to understand, how efficient sea traffic is, and one of the ways is to evaluate how far, if you have 1 gallon of gas, how far will it take a ton of cargo if you go by truck? It's about 40 miles. If you go by rail, it's about 200 miles, and if you go by ship, it's 600 miles. So, you can see the efficiency of what is known as a short sea shipping using as opposed to truck traffic on our highways, but the impact of on the highways would be very significant if you could develop this kind of trade in the East Coast. I-95 could be relieved of much of the traffic that they got as far as trucks go, and it would be a great thing. And of course, the air pollution would be reduced rather substantially because of the efficiency of moving a ton of material by ship as opposed to a truck is so significant.
Sure, I understand it. So basically, obviously moving things down through the ocean from, say, the northeast, down from Wilmington, Delaware, for example, to Jacksonville, to Central Florida via big ships, by roll-on, roll-off ships, by barges, would be a lot more efficient, a lot safer, get traffic off the road. So that's your general efficiency model, is that right?
That's right, and one of the beauties of what's happening is that GT across the way, and you can see that the cranes and so forth. You've got two major cranes over there, and then you've got a stick crane also that right now is using the SpaceX moving that their missile off, but that'll all move. But we're going to have a really an opportunity to go short sea shipping, okay, because the 35-year lease that we've got with GT USA, they also have another lease just signed about a month ago up in Wilmington, Delaware. And so if you look at the difference between now and there, if you look on a map, well, you can see right away that it's like going from, say, Florida up to Philadelphia, because it's just south of Philadelphia. So, this would be a great opportunity for GT to develop this kind of trade on a regular basis, and this would be really excellent for our increasing our throughput in Florida, which in effect would lower the costs of shipping over to Orlando, which is expanding very rapidly, and pull a lot of trucks off the road. And I'm hoping that that's what it is. We produced a brochure about 14 years ago.
Well, Mac, let me ask you this question. As you see behind you here, it's a perfect timing. We've got the Carnival Liberty passing behind you there, right? Just blocking the SpaceX barge that brought the rocket in. So this truly is, like Spencer Holland said, the gateway to space in many ways. But this Carnival Liberty, as it passes by you here, right, blocking the view of those fantastic cargo cranes, it just kind of demonstrates the port's potential, doesn't it, from cruise and also from cargo.
Yeah, well, that's I did some research on the port in Delaware, You know, basically what they're a fairly small port. It's strictly cargo port. They're about 8 foot shallower than we are, but they have more tonnage cargo than we have, and so I think it's a good move on the part of GT, and I'm anxious for the Port Authority to take advantage of this opportunity, and so I think it would certainly help the areas on our traffic, our air pollution, and even more important, perhaps maybe the shipping costs to Central Florida.
Well, as you've been a visionary for the port for many years, you see that cruise ship moving behind you. This sort of vision, this sort of forward thinking is really essential for the port. You know, there's only so many times in life when opportunities arise, and what you're saying is Gulf Container, GT USA, which has an agreement with Port Canaveral to move cargo in and out of the port. Now they have this agreement with Wilmington, Delaware port, so there may be an opportunity to really develop a new stream of revenue, a new way to solve some of our issues here in Central Florida. Is that basically the summary?
That's it. That's the summary, and I'm looking forward to them to do it. But if you don't start somewhere, you know, it doesn't work. But you got to have these ideas, and you got to explore the opportunities that they come by before some other port picks this up.
Well, there it is, folks. Looking behind Mac there, Mac McLouth, you see that barge there just below those big cranes. That's actually the SpaceX barge where that thing lands out to sea and is brought in here, and that's where the new SpaceX facility will be. And
no, actually it'll be over maybe half a mile to the north.
Okay, yeah, back there towards the north area. And there's the gray...
A new cargo berth 8. Or
Okay.
9, actually 9, yeah.
Well, that's why you're the man of the port. And as you can see behind Mac there, lots and lots of piles of gray packages there. There's according to Mac, what are those, Mac, back there sitting on the wharf over there, would you say?
I think that's the lumber. We have a lot of lumber coming in right now. It's one of the big moves because of all the building that's going on in Central Florida. And of course, that's our biggest market area, of course, is Central Florida, which is growing very rapidly.
Well, there it is. I think it's a statistic is something like 2,000 people a day moving into Florida. Central Florida, the I-4 corridor is a big part of that. How are we going to build all these houses, and how are we going to fuel all these jets if we don't have an open line of communication for the Northeast? Short sea shipping may be the way forward. Mac, thanks for sharing that information with us today on Space Coast Daily.
Thank you.